Okay, so let's start how to use this measure names and measure values. So let's go back to our sample superstore. So in this, we have a lot of columns. So a lot of dimensions are there, a lot of measures are there. So I'll just show you what Tableau does. So here are the measures that I can see. So discount, profit, quantity, sales. So these are the measures. So let's see what all will be stored in measure names and measure values. So even if you double click on measure names, so Tableau will automatically pull measure values also. So I'm just double clicking on measure names. You can see measure values is also coming. So I can see all the values. So, and it is doing aggregation on basis on that. So for sales, it is doing sum of sales, quantity, it is doing sum. So on basis of what that criteria is, so it is doing that aggregation. So it's basically doing a total of all the records. So if you go into this, so when you take sales, it is taking the sum of all the records, and it is showing you $23,26,534. So that is how we can show the values of sales and for all the KPIs. And here I want to filter out, or I want to show only few specific measures, sales and profit. So I can specify that like that, and I can show. So that is possible only by using measure names and measure values. So otherwise, or let me select 3, 4. Yeah, say okay. So I can show different measures at a time. So if I take normally like sales, profit, make it discrete. So this won't be a proper output. So here we are not able to see properly. So that is the reason if we have, so if you want to show total of sales, a total of profit. So if you want to show, so that is not very feasible if you are using separately. But by using measure names and measure values. So if you take measure names, so this will contain the names of the measures. So if you take only one measure names column, so that will not show anything until unless if it is a combination of measure values, so then only it will show you the values. So it's basically showing you the values of all the measures. So in measure names, all these names are there, and measure values, all these measure values are there. So it's basically like this. If we go here, so these names are being stored in measure names, and these values are being stored in measure values. Okay, so now let's create some different charts with this. So we can create a side-by-side chart, so that we have discussed earlier. Yeah, blended axis. So this can also be called as blended axis. So you can take, so let me just duplicate this one. So if you keep measure names, measure values like this, so we can do similarly this kind of representation. So if you want to do manually this one, so take subcategory and put measure names here and measure values here. Okay, all the measures are being considered, but I want to show only few measures. So put it in the filter and select only few measures. So let's say if I want to show only sales and profit, I'll select sales and profit, say apply. And I want to see each and every measure in a different color. So take this same measure names and put it in the color. I'm just control selecting that and put it in. So if you don't control select, so that will be removed from filter strip. Okay, so this way I'm able to show profit and sales together. So not only profit and sales, if you want to add quantity, say okay. So you can add any number of measures. So that is how we can make use of measure names. So by using measure names, we can also create multiple line chart. So we have an concept called dual axis. So let me just show you how to create a dual axis. So let's take, so we have seen how to create a line chart. So for line chart, we have taken an example of order date. So we should take it as month and year, and take sales and take profit. Okay, so now I'm able to see sales and profit, but I have a different axis for sales and I have different axis for profit. But instead of that, I want to see only one axis. So for profit also one axis I want to see, for sales also one axis I want to see. So for that, what I will do, I'll right click on this. So there is an option called dual axis. So it will create in the same chart. So left side chart will be representing for sales, left side axis will be representing for sales, and right side axis is representing for profit. But I want to have only one axis. So if you see the axis size, if you see here, so that is different. The tick marks, if you see, so it is 0 to 20k, 20k to 40k. So the difference of the size is 20,000. Here it is 0 to 2k, 4k, 6k. Here it is only 2,000. So we need to synchronize these two axes. Okay, so these are not in sync. So I want to synchronize this. So right click on this. So there is an option called synchronize axis. So click on that. Okay, so if you see now, it is 0 to 20k and this is also 0 to 20k. So like that, it will be synced. So you can remove one of the axes. So uncheck this show header. So I can see two lines in one particular chart. So profit is colored in blue color. Sales is colored in orange color. So it will be highlighted like this. So this is about dual axis. So with the dual axis, you can show two measures at a time. But I want to see three measures at a time. So in this current scenario, I'm able to see only sales and profit. But I want to see three measures. So three measures or four measures. So you can use multiple measures only by using multiple line chart can be created only by measure names and measure values. So now let's see how we can create with measure names and measure values. So let's take order date and make it as month and year. And instead of sales and profit, take measure values. Take measure values, measure names, put it in the color, and measure values, select sales, profit, quantity, discount. So you can see four line charts. So this is for discount, profit, quantity, and this is for sales. So with this, you can create some advanced level of charts. So this is multiple line chart. So that is about the use of measure names and measure values. So measure name contains all the header names of the fields in measure. So this is particularly used to create advanced level of charts, and measures can be filtered. So if you put measure names in the filter, so you can filter how many number of measures that you want to see. And to create multiple line chart or combinational charts, we use this. And measure values contains values of all the measures. So as we discussed, So measure values will be containing the all the values. So that will be segregated only by the combination of measure names and measure values. So latitude and longitude, so that will be created only when you have geolocation. So these two are auto-generated field and we have to use the combination. So longitude and latitude, we have to use it combined together. And that will be created only if you have one of these fields, state, country, city, postal code, and district, to create map charts. And in earlier version, we used to have it as number of records as a column name. But in current versions, we will be having table name in brackets count. So that will be showing the count of records. So now let me ask you a few questions related to the topics that we discussed. So Akhil, can you tell me whether state is a geolocation or not? Okay, perfect. Nazrin, can you tell me what this value will be? Is it an integer or float? What it is? Yeah, perfect. Rajesh, can you tell me what is this name? I mean, whether it is an integer, dimension, or measure, what it is? Yeah, it is a string. Perfect. Priyanka, can you tell me what this uh, name belongs to? So let's say Hyderabad. Is it a geolocation? Yeah, perfect. And I have one more column which says, let's say, quantity. And I have values like 5, 6, like this. So Abhijit, can you tell me what these numbers are? I mean, is it integer? Perfect. Integer, or you can in Tableau it will show us whole number. It's a whole number basically. So it cannot be decimals. And I have a date which has 5. So this is like this. Okay. So Abhijit, can you tell me is it a dimension or is it a measure? It is a dimension actually. So dates are considered as dimensions. Okay, so and also I have a postal code. So I have postal code like 560037 and 505209, like this. So Vishnu, can you tell me what is this? So is it a dimension or is it a measure? Okay, Nazrin, can you tell me whether it is a dimension or is it a measure? Yeah, perfect. Okay, and I also have employee IDs like this. So I have employee IDs like 10002352531000650, like this. Okay, Akhil, can you tell me whether it is a measure or whether it is a dimension? Yeah, perfect. So even if it looks like a numerical value, this will be considered as a dimension. Why? Because we cannot do mathematical operations. So you cannot add two employee IDs. So which doesn't make any sense. So this will be considered as dimensions. Okay, so let's continue with our next topic. So now we are going to discuss about live and extract. So live, extract. So, so live is a data that will be directly connected to the database. Connected to the database. So whenever there is some change in the backend, let's say some 100 rows got added. So that change will be immediately applied to the dashboard. So those 100 records will be added to the dashboard directly. So there will not be any gap. So live connection. So when the data gets updated in the Oracle or SQL Server, so directly that data will also be updated. So let me just show you here. So let's say I have this particular data, country, and I have sales value. So let's add some data in this particular Excel file. So if I add some data, so I will add one more record for Raju. So I'm adding like some more $100 for him. Okay, I'll save this file. So I'll take the names as well. Okay, for Raju, I have added one more $100. So in the current scenario, I have $200. So if I do a refresh, okay, so now Raju has got $300. So that means it is taking the data from the Excel file. So in desktop, you need to manually click on this refresh button. But in servers, you don't have to click on the refresh button. In servers, you don't have to click on the refresh button. So it will directly be updating the data from the backend. Updating the data because of that. And let's see. Yeah. So if I add one more record, so I'm adding one more 100. So, and I need to save this file. So in the server, it will be like this. So I have updated there. So without even clicking on this refresh button, so it will become 400 in the server automatically. So that is called as live connection. So if you change something in the backend, if you add some records in the backend, so that will automatically be updating the graphs or charts in the dashboard. So now this is a normal tabular chart. Let's say if you have some map charts or like this. Okay, so then you are able to see these particular things. So in this particular scenario, India and Cambodia has more values. India and Cambodia. So let's increase the China value. So I'll just increase. I'm adding one more 300. I'll add one more 300 to this. Okay, I have added two more rows. So with this, the count has become 900. So 901.74. So currently it is China is 300.58. Okay, and I'll save this file. So in live connection, what happens is, so in desktop, you need to manually refresh that. That's a different scenario. So when you publish to the Tableau server, you don't have to click on this refresh button. So now you see these colors will change. Why? Because these values are more in India and Cambodia. So these are highlighted with a more intensity of color. And if I refresh it, so in the the added data shows China has the more values compared to other countries. So if I do a refresh, the colors will change automatically. So I'm just doing the refresh. Yeah. So now China has the more values. And compared to China, other countries has less values. So the intensity of the color is less. So this way, in Tableau server, automatically the colors or the charts which are published automatically will change according to the backend data. So that is called a live connection. And now let's discuss about extract connection. So extract, so there are two ways, or so this is a snapshot of data. Snapshot of data taken at that point of time. Let's say I'm publishing right now. So right now, how many records are there? 7 records are there. So 7 records, I have published it. So even if I update any records, let's say if I update 3 more records, okay, until unless, so there are 2 ways to refresh. You have to manually refresh. One is manual extract refresh. 2, scheduling. So for extract connection, you have to do these 2 things to update the data. In live connection, you don't have to update anything, so it will be automatically updated. So if you add 1 record, so based on that 1 record, data will be updated. The visualizations will be updated accordingly. So you don't have to touch the dashboard if it is in live connection. So the examples for this particular data is, if you see stock exchange, so in seconds, the data is getting changed. If you see the maps related to stock exchange, that is keeping on changing. So they are entering some data in that particular database. So that is visually getting represented within seconds. Even if you see cricket matches, okay, so in the backend, they are entering the details of the runs scored by each and every batsman. So they are entering in one particular database. Okay, so in that database, after entering that database, so that database is connected to some visualizations. So that's why you're able to see those visualizations on top of your screens. So that is in live connection basically. So they're just updating the runs or the details of the balls in an over. All those details will be entered in a database. So that is directly connected to the visualizations that they have prepared for the screen. So that is directly connected. So that is the reason you are able to see the live visualizations. In the same way, Tableau will also do that kind of visualizations. If you are entering something, some records, so I have added 3 more records, which has become total 10 records. So 10 records will directly be updated in the Tableau server automatically. So if you keep it in live connection, but in extract connection, so extract connection, so why do we use extract connection? So this is an example. So for cricket match and stock exchange, you have to have live data only. And when you have lesser data in the sense, let's say 1 lakh or 2 lakh, or if you have that much of data, then you can go for live connection. So that way, performance is till that performance is okay in live connection. But in extract connection, you can have millions of records. So if you have millions of records, okay, then you should definitely be using extract connection. Okay, so this is not directly connected to database. Okay, so that is the reason. So this will be faster compared to live connection. So in live connection, it is directly connected to database. Okay, so fetching from Tableau server to, it has to hit the SQL server or Oracle server, any database. It has to hit the DB server and then fetch the data. So that is why when compared to live connection, extract connection is faster. So it is not directly connected to database. So when you do an extract, what happens is a compressed file will be attached to the Tableau server. Okay, so it is taking the data from within itself. So it will not take that much of time. So it will be easy. So it is a snapshot of data taken at that point of time. So let's say if I have 10 records at this point of time, and if I'm publishing, so that will be 10 records only. Later, if I update some 100 records or 10 records, whatever records if I update, so these 10 records will not be changed in the dashboard. In dashboard, it will be showing only 10 records. Until unless I do these things, I do these two things. Manually, I need to refresh in the server. So then it will take the extra records that are added, and scheduling. And we can do scheduling like hourly refresh, hourly, daily, weekly. So you can set up time as well. So at this particular day, let's say Monday, daily at 9 a.m., I want to refresh this particular extract. So every day 9 a.m. it will get the refresh will get refreshed. The extract will get refreshed. So that's a way we can put the schedules. So monthly also we can keep. So like that we can refresh the data. So these are the two options. So you can also manually refresh or you can do scheduling. So that is the difference between live and extract. So live connection is like connecting to the data source directly, and whatever change happens in data source will reflect in Tableau. So it is better to keep in dashboards in live connection in case you have data which is updating very frequently. So if you take an example of stock exchange or live cricket match, so if you want to see the live details on the screen, so for that you need to have live data only. So that is the reason we use live connection. So by default, whenever we connect to any data source, it will be in live connection. So let's go. So I have connected to these data sources. So the file that I have connected to, location batch 4. So it is live connection is denoted with a single cylinder. So if you see, that is denoted with a single cylinder. So whenever you connect to any data source, that will be in live connection only. And how to create an extract. So right click on this. So this is a process to create an extract data. So click on this extract data and click on extract. So a file will be stored. So dot hyper file will be attached. So dot hyper is nothing but data file, Tableau data file. So this file will be attached. So let's say at this point of time, if I have 10 records, so with that 10 records, a file will be created. Okay, so let's say that 10 records will be stored. Now, even if I update something here, let's say one more record if I add. So until unless I do manual refresh or until unless I do scheduling refresh. So this extra record which I have added, so that will not be seen here. So live connection is denoted with a single cylinder, and extract connection is denoted with a double cylinder. Double cylinder with an arrow inside. So this is the double cylinder and with an arrow inside. So that is extract connection. So extract connection is like connecting to the snapshot of data, which will not reflect until unless we do a manual refresh or when we do a schedule refresh. So as we discussed earlier, so there are two formats where we can save the workbook. So it is TWB and TWBX. .twb .twbx. So .tw is nothing but Tableau workbook, and .twbx is nothing but Tableau workbook extract. So this extract this is also called as a packaged workbook. So this will be having package of visualization and data. And this will have only the visualization. So let's say I have created this particular data or this dashboard. So this is the information which I have in my local machine. So region, country, I have created some 6 columns. So this file is there in my local machine. So if I share this dashboard with anyone, any one of you. So if I share this dashboard, so you will not be able to see anything in this dashboard. Why? Because that file is with me. So if I share with a TWB format, okay, you will not be able to see anything in this dashboard. Why? Because, so let's say if it is currently it is having this much of data. So this data will not be attached to that. If I save it in TWB format, so this data which you are seeing right now currently. So if I send this file to any one of you, so you won't be able to see any data here. So it will have the visualization in it, but if the data is not there, it will not show you anything. So you can see this sheet, but it will be empty, and it will throw an error saying that you have to connect to any data file and to see this particular chart. So if I send you the file separately, so if I send you this file separately, so once that error comes, you can connect to that file, the location batch 4 file. Then you can see the visualization. So in TWB, so you have to have the data file also. So data file has to be sent with the TWB file. Okay, so data file also you need to send with the TWB file to see the visualization. Otherwise, people can't see anything, and it will throw an error. It will throw an error saying file is missing, data file is missing. Okay, so for TWB, that is the error that you get. But when you save it as TWB format, so if I save it as okay, do a save as. Okay, if I save it as TWBX, so then it will show me. So then data will be attached, visualization will also be attached. So I don't need to send data file separately. So it will, so data will be compressed and attached to the file itself. So if I want to share anything, so I can just share only TWBX file. I don't have to send data file. So in case of TWB file, you have to share TWB file, and you also have to share data file also. And if you want them to see the dashboard. But in case of DWBX file, so data will be already attached to that file. So if you send TWBX file, that would be more than enough. So that is about TWB and TWBX formats. And even when you save it, so it shows a packaged workbook. So if you save it as TWB, it will show only Tableau workbook. So if you want to share any file with anybody without publishing, if you want to share, so that is the process. So, but usually how we do is, so we publish it to the Tableau public. So if I publish it to the Tableau public, yeah, so it is erroring out because there is one connection which is in live connection. So I just need to convert it to extract and publish it to this server. So let me just sign in. So create like this Tableau public credentials. So go to Tableau public website and sign up in that. So it will ask you for few details, and you can log into this particular Tableau public. And once you log in, you can see your name to the right bottom, and click on this save. Click on this save option. So that will be saved in your portal. So if you want to share your work with anybody, you can just share the link instead of sending the file. So you can just share your work by sending one URL itself. So try to publish the previous sessions and today's session as well. So try to prepare in your Tableau desktop and log into Tableau public, have the credentials, and log into Tableau public using those credentials, and publish to Tableau public and share the link in the group. So any questions from today's session? Abhijit, Akhil, Nazrin, any questions? Vishnu, Priyanka, Rajesh? Okay, then. So I'll upload this video and share the link in the group. So try to do development work. So you need to practice well. So if you listen, you will get the knowledge. But if you practice it, then only you will be able to remember these topics and all. So try to practice daily and share the link in the group. Yeah. Thank you all for joining. We'll continue tomorrow.